If you've ever been told that drawing won't make you money, that your passion is just a hobby and that you should stop dreaming and get a proper job, then this video is for you. My guest on today's Coffee Ramble is Charlie Adlard, the illustrator and cartoonist responsible for the most successful zombie franchise of all time, The Walking Dead. He's going to share his amazing story with us, show us where he buried his best mate, tell you why Oscar-winning director Frank Darabont changed his life, and even explain how you can get rich by drawing. So, grab your sketchbook, sharpen your pencil, it's time to hit the trail. Charlie, thank you for joining me on this Coffee Ramble.
My pleasure, John.
Tell us why first we're here on this beautiful spot on Lith Hill, just outside Shrewsbury.
It's kind of a place of my childhood, really. When I was at sixth form at school, I made a movie, predominantly a lot of it set up here at Lith Hill.
What was the premise? What was going on?
Well, it was a film called Sweet Dreams, and but it was basically about a guy that comes back and haunts this other guy in his dreams. So when we get into the woods, I won't be able to show you the exact spot because I've forgotten that, where we buried my friend Rich Squires, who was my co-filmmaker. Buried him in the ground with loads of leaves up. He had this Woolworths horror makeup kit on, and he had the full-on works. He had bladders running, a tube running down his neck with a bladder in his face, which he could have sort of inflate so it pulsated and everything. He rose from the grave at one point.
Were you interested in comic books at that stage then, or did film and your interest in horror lead into that? No,
I was drawing comic books ever since I was sort of 5 or 6.
What sort of comic books are you drawing when you're 5 and 6? Are you copying existing?
Yeah, I was sort of copying stuff. When I say I drew comics, I didn't actually do panels or anything. I just literally, my dad, he owned quite a couple of local sort of shops, one of them being a newsagent, so brilliant for me because I could get cheap paper, pens, biros, whatever. Yeah. And I used to, when I was really young, I'd literally start from the top left-hand corner and just cover one page with just drawings. And to me, there was a narrative, but it was just this load of drawings just literally spreading across this page.
If I'm an aspiring young artist, illustrator or cartoonist, what words of advice would you give me? Well,
first and foremost, I know this sounds really dumb, but a lot of people don't do it. A lot of people show me work and there's no narrative.
Okay.
At the end of the day, if you're going to draw comics, the first thing you've got to understand is narrative. Being able to draw a pretty picture is fine, but if you can't tell a story, don't do comics. And a lot of people just show me single frames of stuff or single illustrations. I go, well, you're showing me nothing here. You're showing me that you can draw, but
that's only part of the picture.
That's only totally part of the picture. And of course, if someone shows me something and they said, and I say, how long did that take you to do? And they say, about a week. I was like, well, you need to get a bit faster. Yes. Because, at the end of the day, it's the comics industry. It's not just, you're not going to earn anything. You can't make a living taking a week to do a page.
Tell me about how you got started in the world of comic books then.
Well, after failing dismally as a filmmaker and failing dismally in a rock band as well, because I also play the drums, and that didn't work out. I lived in London for a while trying to make it in the music industry. Came home slightly with the tail between my legs, and for about a couple of weeks I was didn't really know what to do. I know it sounds bizarre now, but I just basically suddenly, as a whim, thought I could try this comics lark. As soon as I put pen to paper again, I sort of realised that this is what I really wanted to do with my life.
Yeah.
This is what I was called, if there's such thing as destiny, this was it. Yeah, so it took about 2 or 3 years to break in after that. I just literally worked every day on a portfolio. Yeah, eventually found my first comic book job with the Judge Dredd magazine.
Judge Dredd.
Yeah, so Judge Dredd was literally the first ever thing I did professionally, which is a pretty cool thing to draw first off. Yeah. And then thankfully there was a Marvel were canny enough at the time to have a UK office, and they were actually producing books created in the UK for not just the UK, but for the American market as well.
Yeah.
So I found work on those. But working for Marvel UK meant that your stuff was seen in America, which led to a few offers with American companies. Not Marvel, funnily enough, but a company called Topps. And I ended up doing a book called Mars Attacks, which led me to doing a book, an adaptation of the X-Files. It was incredibly successful, the book, but anything related to the X-Files was incredibly successful.
Yeah. It was like a cultural milestone in the 90s, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're associated with something like that, it sells loads of copies. So it kind of put me on the map a bit. Then I did a lot of work for Marvel and DC after that. I wasn't that brilliant at drawing superheroes because I have a more realistic style.
Sure.
And also, I'm not that fussed about drawing them either. So
they don't speak to you, or
no? I could relate more to the more down-to-earth superheroes, if that is a thing, like Daredevil or Batman, I suppose. People like that.
With their feet a bit more firmly on the ground.
Well, it's less cosmic.
Yeah.
And I used to go to San Diego Comic-Con every year as a kind of networking kind of exercise more than anything. And eventually I started chatting to an unknown writer called Robert Kirkman. We met a couple of times at San Diego, just mutual friends, just exchanged a few pleasantries, all that sort of stuff. He rang me or emailed me out of the blue and just said, "Do you fancy working on this little zombie comic book I'm doing called The Walking Dead?"
He asked you to
draw this.
Take a look at it?
Took a look at it. I did like the script, admittedly, and I realised straight off that it wasn't just a straightforward, lots of gore, lots of zombies.
Yeah.
It was proper characters. His plan was to do this sort of long-form, character-driven story set, just so happens to be set, in the zombie apocalypse.
So you're at things like Comic-Con, and studios, presumably, they're hoovering up lots of what's called IP.
But you sell them for basically peanuts or nothing sometimes, for them to hopefully get it made, and then you don't need to have sold it to anybody because hopefully you'll make the money.
So you sell the rights to The Walking Dead, not really thinking much of it at that point then?
You put it to the back of your mind because the chances of it getting made are 1 in 1,000.
Yeah.
You literally do. I've sold rights to loads of other creator-owned things. You just sort of put it to the back of your mind.
So you've sold the rights to Walking Dead, you're thinking nothing of it.
Yeah.
You're doing comfortably from the sales of the Walking Dead series?
Making a comfortable living, put it that way. Yeah.
And then an Oscar-winning man called Frank Darabont champions the Walking Dead.
Well, he did. We that was the initial sales too, actually, was Frank, the man that directed The Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile, things like that. So obviously at the time rather a big name director.
Absolutely.
And he really championed the book. He was desperate to do it. And the rest, as they say, is history.
It was a cultural phenomenon, wasn't it, when the series launched?
I don't think anyone expected to see it blow up like it did, though. I mean, it was just, the figures, 10...
Oh, 1 second, there's a Chinook coming for us.
Whoa.
Not sure whether our camera...
It's as low as we are. There's two of them.
Frank Darabont champions the books, pushes it through to AMC, it kicks off. It's this worldwide phenomenon.
Yep.
Does your life change overnight?
Not overnight, because these things always are gradual. You always think, we've got a series. We've got a pilot. It's gone to series. Brilliant. Will there be a second series? Brilliant. It's going to be a second series. Yes. All this sort of stuff. It probably wasn't until we got to season 3 that we're sort of thinking, this is going to be around for a while, isn't it?
Because it's winning awards as well, right? It's not just a show that's doing well.
It's not just massively popular. It's winning awards. It's everyone's, obviously saying what a great show it is, and and of course it's bringing people to the book as well. That was the big change. Is we saw a huge leap in sales. We went from being translated into sort of your basic, French and Spanish and German to about the height of it, about 30 different languages.
Oh wow.
So it was mad.
At this point, am I right in you saying that you also are starting to outperform Marvel and DC books.
Oh, we were number one Walking Dead 100 was number one in the charts. So yeah, we were outperforming most superhero stuff.
So you have a black and white creator-owned...
Everything about it was not commercial. Yeah, we were always told that colour comics are the only comics that sell. We were black and white. We were told that in the American industry, we were told that superhero comics are the only comics that sell. We were a character-driven, zombie comic. So everything about us were, almost stood against us to succeed on that level. Yeah, we were trouncing Spider-Man.
And what does your comic book career look like after that? Are you taking your time? Are you having a well-earned break?
Obviously, The Walking Dead did so well. It gave me the freedom to pick and choose what I want to do. And to be honest, as I said before, I'm not really into superheroes that much, so I certainly didn't want to go back to Marvel and DC. I just want to do my own thing, my own creator-owned thing. Why spend 16 years of my life working on creator-owned stuff? It felt like going backwards, working on somebody else's characters.
I'm going to show off a second now.
Go on.
Because I bought something that I'm desperate to use to make me feel a bit more outdoorsy.
Oh.
It's a flint.
Oh wow, a flint.
So, as I prepare us a brew, tell me about what coffee means in your life.
I remember being really excited when Starbucks opened in town, so I don't know how long ago that was. That was probably my first introduction to something beyond Nescafe,
But Starbucks is most people's gateway into specialty and good quality coffee.
Yeah, when I'm out and about, I do like a mocha.
Okay.
But I think it's the hardest one to make well.
So this is taking a while to grind because for the stovetop it has to be quite fine.
That's all right.
So it's quite a process.
Yes, indeed.
Do you use coffee as part of your creative routine?
I'm a mid to late morning coffee person. Around about 11:30, I'll have one. Yeah, so I do about hour and a half, and then think, right, coffee time.
There we go. There you go, now in business. So,
yes,
as mentioned, I'm going to show off. You might want to just lean back.
Oh, bloody hell, right, okay.
So I bought this online because I follow a few YouTubers who do outdoor survival.
Right.
And I aspire to be an outdoor survivalist, he says, with his cups and his things. And this is for lighting fires. So you just do that and fire magically appears, but I'm cheap because I have gas.
Okay. Oh, look, instant, first time. Marvellous.
As we let that bubble,
very good. Yeah.
I have your book.
Hurrah! Yes.
Coffee shop, full of amazing sketches that have your unique style and your ability to capture the personality of your figures. What made you decide to do this book?
Well, to cut a very long story short, I did a book on life drawing of my life drawings that I did at the Hive a few years back, and as soon as I finished that, I was like, it'd be nice to do another one. And I thought, it'd be quite nice to sit in coffee shops, do. And this is before I had a bean to cup machine as well, so there's a lot more sitting in coffee shops I used to do. So I quite like that idea of, actually doing some work, inverted commas, and drinking coffee at the same time. What
I really like about this is a real nice coffee complimentary book. You can sip your coffee and flick through it.
Exactly. And it's even got some words in there as well.
It's got some words, and I noticed one of my favourite films is Ferris Bueller's Day Off. There's a little Ferris Bueller in there. So this is a single origin Guatemalan coffee.
Okay.
And I even preheated the milk at home. So
look at this, eh?
I've got no excuses for it being cold this time.
Lovely, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, wow. Marvellous. Oh, this is unique. Never had a...
What a spot for it.
Lovely, cheers. Oh yeah, that's nice.
Can one drawing change your life?
Not one single drawing, but I'll tell you, there was a significant moment in my life where one single comic book changed my life, which was my dad way back in 1972, which was kind of one of my earliest memories. And he had something behind his back, I remember that, and me getting quite excited. about what have you got, and it was The Mighty World of Marvel #1. So it serialized Spider-Man, Fantastic Four and the Hulk. And I don't think if it was that for that book, unlocking of my I don't think I was drawing comics before then, but I certainly drew comics afterwards.
What is the key to creative success then?
Hard work. It's pleasurable hard work though, obviously. It never feels like hard work. Commitment probably. It's not hard work because, like I say, hard work sounds like it's a chore. So it's commitment. If you're going to do something like this, you commit to it 100%. You don't sort of. I meet so many people that might draw for 2 hours a week, and you just think, well, you're not going to do particularly well in what I do, because you're not committed. 2 hours a week is nothing. You got to, even if you've got a job, you have to really somehow find the time. You're not going to get good doing it for that tiny amount of time.
If someone has their passion, they're an aspiring illustrator or cartoonist, but people are saying, don't follow that, don't be silly, get yourself a proper job, what would you say to them?
Oh, my boys, I've always encouraged them to just do what you want to do. Don't do it because you'll earn the money, or I've never said, why don't you try this as a backup? All that sort of thing that a lot of parents will say to their children. If it doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. You can always go and do something else. But you might as well try it when you're young.
Colour or black and white?
Oh God! That's such a tricky. God, that's. No. Because I've just literally done a colour strip as well.
This, by the way, is called the quick fire round.
No, black and white.
Black and white. Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Rick or Daryl?
Oh, Rick, of course, because I created. Well, Daryl's not even a comics character.
Pen or pencil?
Pen.
Creator-owned or established franchise?
Oh, creator-owned.
Working solo or collaborating?
Solo to a point. But comics is collaborative anyway, because there's always a writer,
I'm hoping we might finish by you teaching me a little bit about sketching.
Okay, this is your basic face. So you draw the obviously obligatory egg shape.
Sure.
And then you divide it in half, like that. And then down the middle, like that. So you've got your basic quarters, obviously.
Yeah.
And then you place your eyes. Now your eyes go in between these two markers there, so 2 eyes like that. And a good way of knowing the distance between the eyes is an eye distance.
Okay.
So if you work out your eye distance in the middle, that's roughly where you put your 2 eyes. Divide the face again, about halfway down, like that. That's roughly the position of the nose. So you do a little V like that, so you've got your nose shape. Obviously the nose kind of starts from the corner of the eyes and goes down, but of course it does form a triangle like that as well, the cartilage. So that's your nose. So you put your mouth again about halfway down under that. So there's your mouth. So you always forget there's a lot more head. Loads of head. Ears in like that.
Yeah.
The irises and everything is always interesting because a lot of people just do them like that, right in the middle, but you always look surprised like that.
So they're slightly covered, is that right?
Yes, they appear just under the eye like that, just under the top lid. Then you put your eyebrows in, which sort of go over there like that.
Yeah.
The skull comes down like that, but then you can really define your cheeks that way. And then you kind of, this is where it gets a bit more vague. You just fill it in now from those dimensions. Do a nice square jaw. Yeah. A nice cartoony way of doing the lips is literally you just do a little line, which is the shadow of the lips under the shadow of your bottom lip. You don't necessarily have to draw the lip. Weirdly, when you're drawing males, which I am, you tend to not draw the lips because as soon as you start drawing the lips, it looks more female.
Okay.
And then you do your hair. I mean, you've got most people's hairline obviously starts off and then it sort of comes in like that and then goes straight across and comes in like that. There's that sort of bit that folds in and then goes up. Obviously, everyone's hair is different, so Your neck kind of starts roughly where your mouth finishes. So you go down 2 lines of the neck. It's always quite nice to give the eyes a bit of life. You put in a little sort of, a little, if you do that, a little sort of shiny bit. What we all tend to do, I mean, this is your sort of more comic book 101. We tend to not fully draw the eyes in as well.
Okay.
You just sort of define the bottom like that. But there you go, you see that's just when you've got the light source hitting a face from that end, that's how you generally shade in.
It starts taking so much life then as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks so much better now, doesn't it? Now you've got this sort of, but that's your basic face.
Can we finish with one final thought? Can drawing pictures make you rich?
Did all right for me. If you're in my industry, if you're good enough and fast enough, fast is key, but you can make a decent living. It's not a poverty sort of stricken lifestyle, believe you me. If you can make it work for yourself, definitely.
You just got to put this
to this and constantly do it. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, Charlie. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure, John.